Coming up on NewsTeam Boulder, 420 came in wet at CU, but how hazy did things really get?
Police finally locate a suspect in a hash oil explosion investigation.
A program for the homeless that helps the environment is making waves in Boulder.
And how CU is never forgetting the Holocaust. All that and more coming up on NewsTeam.
From the Roser Atlas Center and the College of Media, Communication, and Information at the University of Colorado Boulder, this is NewsTeam Boulder.
Good afternoon and welcome to NewsTeam Boulder. I'm Bryce Rudnick.
And I'm Sarah Shalviri.
But first, breaking news out of Minnesota. Prince the musician, who came up with hits such as Purple Rain in 1999, has died at age 57. The news broke this morning when a death was reported at Paisley Park, the compound in Minnesota that Prince lives in. After an initial TMZ report, Prince's publicist confirmed the musician's death just before we went to air. Prince was 57 and one of the most celebrated artists of the 1980s. The entertainment world has already sent their support, making Prince's name trend within minutes of the initial report. Said rap legend Talib Kweli, "I know what I'm playing all night tonight."
420 is in the books, and outside a few smokers on the quad, nothing major happened. NewsTeam Boulder's own Alejandra Zapita is on campus right now with the latest.
Norland Quad is as empty today as it was yesterday. Today is just a regular school day, but yesterday was 420, to some a national holiday. The University of Colorado Boulder has made it a tradition to celebrate 420. But since 2012, the university has cracked down on public displays of marijuana smoking. The campus was closed the day of for 2 years. This year, 420 was midweek, but students opted out.
For me personally, I had to work all day, like 9 to 5, and I work off campus, so I wasn't even on campus at all.
Around the state, other festivities proved more popular, leaving Boulder out of the smoke.
A lot of things go on in Denver, and I know a lot of people are down there, so I think now that it is legal in the state, there's more options, just like opposed just to this one, you know.
Is it safe to say the 420 tradition is dead on the Boulder campus? We'll find out next year. For NewsTeam Boulder, I'm Alejandra Cepeda.
Thanks, Alejandra. Since the campus closure started in 2012, the University of Colorado has seen less and less of impact caused by 420.
CU Boulder police have located one of the suspects of an explosion that ripped through a third-floor room in Boulder's Broker Inn. Police were responding to a call, and after 45 minutes, escorted a man out of the house and to the hospital. BPD spokeswoman Shannon Cordingley confirmed the man's identity as Jonathan Tarr. He has a previous arrest of drug possession on his record. Once Tarr is cleared, he will be charged of suspicion of 1st and 4th degree arson, extraction of marijuana concentrate, reckless endangerment, and criminal mischief. The explosion occurred at 4:25 a.m. on April 13th, causing $10,000 in damages.
When CU students are scrambling through a semester worth of notes, throwing back espresso shots, and staring into their computer screens with bloodshot eyes, it can only mean one thing. It's time for finals at CU Boulder. Louise McDonald has the story.
This time of year doesn't have to be as stressful, though. For many CU students, where they study makes a huge difference to how much information they retain. Seniors Haley, Alana, and Cheyenne say a few study spots help them survive 4 years of finals and make it to graduation.
I like to change up where I study for the different subjects or different classes, but one of my favorites is actually right behind us. What's it called? Alpine Cafe. And it's a cute little coffee shop.
On my bed. I don't really like to study anywhere else because it's just more relaxing and comfortable.
My favorite place to study is either Starbucks or I like to go to the business school. And I'm most productive very early in the morning, so I like to get up early and study, and that's when I get the most done.
There are many secret study spots for you to sneak off to during the heat of finals, like this one at Norland. And CU Boulder students share some of their own secrets that help them pass their hardest exams.
Freshman year, I literally didn't know how to study, and so I rewrite all my notes, and then after I fill out the study guide and write my notes, I make note cards for each individual question, and then I study the note cards until I know them.
I would say stay away from the library, or else you'll be stuck on the floor somewhere, and then everyone else stressed out just makes you stressed out as well.
Definitely prepare in advance and don't wait till the last minute to make your study guides or you'll feel very overwhelmed.
According to collegemeasures.org, there's a 68% overall graduation rate at CU Boulder. The percentile that does make it through all 4 years are proof that good study habits may just be the key to achieving your diploma. Louise McDonald, NewsTeam Boulder.
Thanks, Louise. With finals on the horizon, make sure to find study spots and make study habits that will get you the diploma in hopefully 4 years.
The winner of the CU Spring Student Government election might want to hold off on celebrating because they are being accused of bribery, among other things. The panel of judges heard a number of accusations that led to their overall ruling that the Revolution campaign did in fact commit infraction. Revolution is appealing the decision, but in a result of the ruling standing, the runner-up party will win by default.
Last week, a landmark decision was made by CU Boulder that left a lot of people scratching their heads. Well, now CU President Bruce Benson is explaining himself. Friday, the administration of the University of Colorado inked a $5 million deal to name a new train leaving Denver Airport for the Union Station after the school. But the only problem is the train doesn't stop at any of the 4 universities. CU President Bruce Benson says it's due to an increased marketing competition amongst Colorado colleges.
You've noticed the trees roped off with caution tape around Boulder? They're ash trees, and they're under attack. But the city of Boulder has come up with a creative solution to clean up tree debris and take on another citywide issue. The emerald ash borer is a green jewel beetle that's been ravaging Boulder's ash trees since 2013. The beetle's larvae eat the tree from the inside and kill it. Because there are more than 6,000 trees that pose a risk of tipping over from the damage, the city is removing trees every day, which is why Boulder Parks and Rec came up with a $200,000 idea, tree debris to opportunity.
The main goals of the project is one, to mitigate some of the tree debris that we have coming down and also increase awareness about emerald ash borer, the effects of it, and some creative solutions that you might have as opposed to just cutting your tree down and sending it to a landfill.
The extra cash from the Knight Foundation will fund the program, which will train homeless residents to make furniture and art from trees felled by the emerald ash borer. The city teamed with Bridge House, an organization which helps people who are transitioning out of homelessness.
By giving people in this community opportunities to work, to get educated, to give themselves more skills, to become more marketable, it's just strengthening our community overall.
Bridge House has joined Boulder Parks and Recs on the Ready to Work program, which provides paid jobs and offers a variety of training and support services. Now these individuals have a chance to create art and develop as craftsmen.
Our program's already pretty robust in terms of providing a range of skills. What this woodworking opportunity provides is more of an industry-specific craft and trade that will help someone's employability.
The Tree Debris to Opportunity is part of a larger movement by Bridge House, which is to eliminate the negative associations people have with homelessness.
So here in Boulder, we definitely have our challenges around homelessness. I think what a lot of people don't necessarily understand is that homelessness is a circumstance.
As part of the effort to end homeless discrimination, the woodworking lessons will take place at the Boulder Library and be open to members of the public as well.
We've been putting people to work in very visible jobs, whether that is in catering or through our food service program or out in the community working with Parks and Rec and open space. And what that's done is really show the community that, many homeless folks are just looking for an opportunity and a chance to get back to work.
When I was getting those shots, I was kind of concerned that the trees would fall on me. But I spoke to Isabel McDevitt, and she said that Bridge House hopes to begin hosting the woodworking sessions within the next 2 months.
Thanks for that story, Bryce. And coming up on NewsTeam Boulder, a look at Earth Week here on campus.
And the Utah police have their hands full with a prescription drug problem at a local middle school.
The odds of a child being in a fatal automobile accident are 1 in 23,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
This is a man who almost learned to walk at a rehab center that almost got built by people who almost gave money. Almost gave. How good is almost giving? About as good as almost walking.
Most cities will celebrate Earth Day on Friday, but for Boulder, one day isn't enough. So here it's been Earth Week. Barrett Vickery has more.
Sustainability is part of the culture here at CU, so it's no surprise that we go all out for Earth Week. Many student groups will be putting on events today and tomorrow, but the biggest is being put on by the Environmental Center.
EarthFest is an all-day eco-social event, eco-social meaning environmental and social justice. We started the event because we'd like to engage students and the broader CU and Boulder community to take action and be stewards of their community.
EarthFest will feature live musicians, speakers, and workshops, all geared toward building a better environmental future. If that's not an incentive, then what about free clothes? The E-Center has organized a campus-wide fashion swap in conjunction with EarthFest activities. I like food just as much as clothes, so I dropped by the latest discussion, Decolonize Your Diet. Earth Week is just as much about human culture as it is the Earth itself, and what better way to come together than over dinner? The forum consisted of a presentation and group discussion about how we can support our health and communities by choosing nutritious, local foods. The discussion highlighted the economic and cultural harm that comes from getting our food from megacorporations like Monsanto, Walmart, and Coca-Cola. The problems we face are big, but the Environmental Center wants to remind students that sometimes all you need to do is educate yourself and tell others, and that's what Earth Week is all about. So if you haven't taken advantage of any Earth Week events yet, there's still time. The Sustainability Summit is happening until 2 p.m. in the UMC today, and the main event, Earth Fest, is being held tomorrow on the UMC South Terrace from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Barrett Vickery, NewsTeam Boulder.
Thanks, Barrett. We'll have to go to the clothing swap and get some more cool TV clothes.
Boulder is trying to raise their $5,000 budget to help facilitate talks with the Palestinian city of Nablus. The city council members request $10,000 for this discussion. This comes after Boulder Nablus Sister City Project asked the city council to postpone its public hearing scheduled last Tuesday and have a facilitated discussion instead. The goals for this meeting are to gain a better understanding of both sides.
While marijuana is legal and used recreationally here in Colorado, some still may consider it to be a gateway drug.
And 2 middle school kids from Utah find themselves in some serious drug trouble. NewsTeam Lizzie Vogel has more on the story.
Thanks, guys. Happy last show to you here at the desk. In West Jordan, Utah, police and the West Jordan School District have their hands full as prescription pills were passed out and consumed on school grounds. And as of this morning, 2 students will face charges after allegedly distributing a controlled substance.
The incident took place on Tuesday when a teacher noticed funny and peculiar behaviors coming from several students. After confronting some of the middle schoolers, the teacher discovered that 2 students had been passing out prescription pills, which they had brought from their homes. 4 students were treated immediately after ingesting the controlled substance, and while all are reported to be doing okay, the issues of what young teenagers can get their hands on and give to others is on the minds of concerned parents, as well as the community of West Jordan.
Jordan School District spokesman Sandy Resgraf says this issue is a wake-up call for both student and parents alike to be more aware of the prescription medications that are in their homes. I say it's always better to be safe than sorry, especially with young and eager teenagers, so hiding away easily accessible pills can be a first step in keeping communities both healthy and safe. Guys, back to you.
This week has been a busy one for CU. Holocaust Remembrance was taken center stage these past few days in Boulder, and our very own Samantha Sharp has more.
Every year on the CU campus, there are events taking place for a week long to commemorate one of history's most horrible known genocides. They range from a concert featuring music composed by prisoners, as well as the screening of survivor documentaries. But it's the survivors of the Holocaust which draw the largest crowds. When the Nazis begun their reign of terror, Peter Berendt and his family were able to hide for years in Berlin to escape being sent to a camp. He held his discussion just this Tuesday.
Well, it's important for survivors to tell the story because there are still lots of people around the world who either don't believe the Holocaust occurred or deny it or don't understand it. And there are very few of us left who can talk about it in the first person.
There is not a definitive number of survivors left, and the number will only continue to decrease as time goes on, so it is important for survivors to continue giving their testimonies and for us to listen. The reason there is not one number that can be found to account for the amount of Holocaust survivors still alive is because the definition of a survivor is broad. It includes Jewish and non-Jewish people who were in hiding, inmates of camps, and refugees that suffered under the Nazi regime. This week provides a wonderful opportunity for students who have never been given the chance to hear a survivor speak until now.
They had to be turned in. No buying of fruit, shaving.
I've never really had the opportunity arise before, so when I heard there was going to be 5 different speakers, I was like, this is so cool.
The Atlas building will be housing the majority of survivor talks. 4 of them will be taking place over the course of the week. The Boulder community is indeed lucky to have this opportunity.
The Holocaust was a major part of the 20th century, and the lessons are still resonating, so we need to pay attention.
If there's anything to keep in mind, it is the saying on the bumper stickers being passed out at one survivor's talk. It says, "Don't bite the bait that feeds hate." Sam Sharp, NewsTeam, Boulder.
Thank you, Sam. If you're interested in the subject, be sure to check out the last Survivor Talk of the Week, happening today at 2 p.m. in Atlas 100.
Up next on NewsTeam, we get you an update on all your area weather.
And coming down the third baseline in sports, so stick with us and we'll have all that and more.
We won 24 NCAA championships, sent 18 NASA astronauts into space, inspired 4 Nobel laureates, unlocked the genetic secrets of cancer in a place that averages over 300 days of sunshine a year, ranks as America's smartest and healthiest city, and is home to the mightiest mascot in college sports. If you didn't know what the University of Colorado is all about, now you do.
So let's check in on our current weather conditions. The temperature outside is 60 degrees, mostly sunny with a humidity of 54%. Should be a high of 64 today, so not too much wind and doesn't seem to be much precipitation either. It looks like a perfect day outside.
Looking at the national forecast, Colorado is one of the last pockets of 60-degree weather, but everywhere else it looks pretty hot. 70s across most of the country and already hitting the 80s in the south like Florida and Texas. But look at this, 90 degrees and up in southwest Arizona and Death Valley area of California. The Houston floods continue to be a front-page news across the country. Officials announced that there are 7 people dead, more than 1,200 injured, and it's not over yet. In less than 24 hours, the Houston area got dumped with 17 inches of rain, and the damages are now nearing $5 billion, while most of the 123,000 residents that lost power have had it restored. Don't expect floodwaters to reduce anytime soon.
And now let's take a look at the 4-day forecast. There's a high of 75 on Saturday with a low of 40 and a pretty clear day. And that's how it'll look from here on out. Saturday will be more of the same, high of 75. But Sunday and Monday will drop a little bit, highs of 64 on both days. Get the chubbies and bucket hats because spring looks here to stay.
It does look like it's going to be a really nice weekend coming up.
Hopefully some of that good weather means good sports too. Our own Bree Thomas has more on that.
The odds of a child being in a fatal automobile accident are 1 in 23,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
This is a man who almost learned to walk at a rehab center that almost got built by people who almost gave money. Almost gave. How good is almost giving? About as good as almost walking.
Just wanted to apologize for those technical difficulties right before break. But the Broncos are still searching for their quarterback. Since Peyton Manning announced his retirement, the team has been looking at a variety of QBs, and it appears that they may be getting a tad bit desperate. The latest prospect is journeyman Brian Hoyer. The 30-year-old is expected to visit Denver today. He's an undrafted free agent and has played for 4 teams in his 7 seasons in the league. He was recently released by Houston after melting down in the playoffs last season. Last month, the Texans signed former Broncos quarterback Ross Osweiler. Hoyer doesn't seem too promising. Now let's go to the Rockies. The Rockies headed home last night after a 6-game road trip, though before they left Cincinnati, one player celebrated an impressive milestone. Unfortunately, the outcome of the game had them scratching their heads. The story of the night in Cincy was Rockies outfielder Carlos Gonzalez. Cargo had his 1,000th career hit with his second double of Wednesday's 6-5 loss to the Reds. The Rockies are second in the NL West behind the Dodgers and will play LA tomorrow at Coors Field. An Erie teenager has found a new home here in Boulder. I met up with this 17-year-old who's excelling at an unusual sport. Jack Bradford isn't your typical teenager. While kids his age are swinging swords in video games, Bradford is doing it for real. The high school junior spends 13 hours a week practicing fencing at the Northern Colorado Fencers Club in Boulder. Mainstream sports have never really interested him.
I think it's just because I want to do something a little different. I just saw it on the Olympics and I was always really into lightsabers and stuff as a kid. So it was kind of a natural fit.
Bradford has been fencing since he was 11 years old. He is the junior Olympic gold medalist, and he attributes his success to his coaches, particularly Gary Copeland.
He's kind of like a second dad, kind of. That just swears a lot more.
Fencing not only pushes Bradford physically, but also mentally. Most high school students are lucky to get a vacation out of state. However, fencing provides Bradford the opportunity to travel all over the world. And when he competes, he's treated like an athlete rather than a kid. Bradford's work ethic has impressed everyone at the club.
Had an awful lot of competitive success when he's traveled, as you've heard about. So that's Jack in a nutshell. He works really, really hard when he's here. He sets a really good example by his work ethic and his demands on himself.
Bradford's love of lightsabers has led him down an amazing path. His family and fellow fencers are excited to see where it leads.
He's been really a fixture since just about that time. I don't think there was really a time when he started where he wasn't here as much as he could be, trying to get better at fencing.
Bradford recently won the senior men's AP championship. He's looking forward to many more of these amazing opportunities. Now for basketball. It's been 3 years since the Nuggets were in the NBA playoffs, and who knows how much longer we'll have to wait to enjoy a Mile High Hoops postseason. So we just have to settle for other NBA playoff action, like LeBron and company, who had to battle to beat Detroit in Game 1. But Game 2 showed a different story. LeBron James taking care of business in the post as he backs down Reggie Bullock. Just too easy. Then we have Matthew Dellavedova, who feeds the king for a nice two-handed jam. Someone get some grapes and fan the man because he is hot. James had 27 points last night, and the Cavs win 107-90 and lead 2-0 in the game. Next, Hornets at Heat. Dwayne Wade with a nice baseline jumper for 2. Heat finished with 28 points. The Hornets' sting wasn't quite potent, though, but Al Jefferson was able to get into the post with a nice push shot, but the Heat would still score 72 points in the first half. Sad news for Nicholas Batum as he's bringing the ball up, rolls his ankle on Justice Winslow's foot. Let's watch that replay again. Ooh, that one is gonna leave a mark. And then the Heat were able to pull away after 2 more from D. Wade. Miami rolls over the Hornets 115-103 and leads the series 2-0. Lastly, we have Blazers at Clippers. Jamal Crawford getting some hardware as he's the first player to win the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award 3 times. Chris Paul gives it to JJ Redick for a nice 3, but the Blazers on the break come back with CJ McCollum all the way down the lane for the layup. CP3 is then able to find Blake Griffin off the pick and roll, and let me tell you, he's jamming. And CP3 with the nice little step back jumper. It was all Clips, all game. Clippers win 102-81 and also lead their series 2-0. Well, the 2016 Summer Olympics kicks off on August 5th in Rio de Janeiro. But thousands of miles away across the Atlantic Ocean, the pageantry is already underway in Greece. The Olympic torch lighting ceremony took place Thursday in Olympia, the ancient birthplace of the Games. Tradition calls for the torch to be lit with rays of sun in a concave mirror. The Olympic and Brazilian flags were hoisted as part of the ceremony, which included dancing and various rituals. The flame was handed off to the first torchbearer, beginning its journey to Rio. And guys, that's all I have for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for the sports, Bree. Up next on NewsTeam Boulder, a new driver's license will be coming to Boulder.
And we say happy birthday to a famous Brit. Can you guess who it is? We'll give you their names after the break.
The future is open for business, so step right in and create something inspiring. Be motivated, be compelled, be excited, be united, to think deeper and see farther. On the field, in the lab, above the earth, beside great minds. Create something that doesn't exist and question what does. You can, you will lead, exceed at the University of Colorado.
Inside each of us, there's a spark. To push, to challenge, to lead, and create ideas that change everything. Reimagine, reinvent, rewrite the way you see the world. Achieve the unthinkable, solve the unsolvable, and create the unimaginable. Down the court, in the lab, above the earth, beside great minds, you can, you will ignite, unleash, excel at the University of Colorado.
This week, new drivers in the state of Colorado will see some different colors on their license. The new design, being rolled out this week, includes new laser engraving in grayscale and a new card material. On the back is Mount Sneffels, found between Telluride and Ouray, Colorado. While your old license still works, it will only be valid until the expiration date.
And speaking of birthdays, we wish one to our would-be matriarch, Queen Elizabeth II of England. She is the nation's first sovereign to celebrate her 90th birthday, in addition to being the longest-serving monarch of the country. And how does the Queen plan on spending it? Of course, with a walkabout in her home of Windsor. Before the formal celebrations this summer, some of those formal celebrations, will include a picnic of 10,000 guests at Buckingham Palace. That sounds smashing.
I must say, Norm, goodbye. Okay. I must say I would very much love to be a part of the Queen's festivities.
Please stop talking like that.
Okay, well, that'll be it for NewsTeam Boulder this semester. We've got some people we want to thank before we go.
A huge thank you to Paul Doherty, Gail Brinson, Carol McKinney, Joe Paris, and Steve Jones for advising us this semester.
And a big shout out to all our directors and crew who have been amazing all year long.
And of course to the NewsTeam staff who have helped us put on the show.
So that will do it for NewsTeam Boulder this spring. I'm Bryce Rudnick.
And I'm Sarah Shalviri. Thanks for watching and have a great summer, Boulder.
Peace.